Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in the past we took a look at the lightweight bed from Zenbivy. This here a lightweight 25 degree down sleeping system again from Zenbivy. But today we are going to up the ante, not just the lightweight bed, but the ultralight bed. Brand new for the 2024 backpacking season. I have a quilt, I have a whole bunch of accessories here, and we're gonna go through all of this in detail. I'm gonna compare it and contrast it against a couple other Zenbivy setups to see which one might be for you. Now, in this particular case, again, the ultralight bed. There are still a ton of other options. So if you don't need the ultralight capabilities, the ultralight packability, and the ultralight savings, weight savings, and just small nature of the ultralight setup, you can get a number of other setups, including the lightweight bed and their core bed, which definitely gives you some price ranges to consider. Now, another thing about this particular video, this is just a first look and impression. But even on top of that, this is kind of what they're going to call a production sample. So this is before the actual production units are available and fully outfitted the way they're going to be. So there are some subtle differences. I will point that out for anybody who's watching this, so when the full production run does come out, if there are differences, you will understand. But again, a first look and impression. Future videos will have the field use, but with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Zenbivy who did provide this for review. And if you like what you see here today, look at the description box below where you can find all of the relevant details for where you can find Zenbivy products. Maybe it's not the ultralight bed, but again, there are a ton of great options out there, so take a look in the description box below. And if you like what you see here today, the people at Zenbivy have graciously offered one of you a giveaway. So a Zenbivy light bed is going to be given away to one of you. I can tell you already that is an absolutely awesome piece of kit to get your hands on. So one of you lucky viewers are going to get your hands on one of these. And I'm also going to say at this time during this video, my giveaways are often going unclaimed. I have a lot of just incredible stuff, and there's only one way for you to get your hands on all of this. Take a look in the description box below for all the details. And so before we start this entire video, I have to say at this point, I pretty much, in essence, exclusively use Zenbivy products for my sleep system and for a few reasons. Zenbivy products are typically going to be a little bit bulkier, a little bit heavier than other options out there. However, I will go as far as to say there's probably not a more comfortable sleep system than a Zenbivy sleep system. Not only is it comfortable, but it keeps me safe, it keeps me secure, and I can highly regulate both my body temperature and, almost more importantly, my body moisture. The ability to appropriately manage your temperature is what ultimately keeps you warm and safe when you need it, without sweating, without getting cold. So I will sacrifice a little bit of bulkiness. I will sacrifice a little bit of weight to have a system that I can absolutely trust. That's what Zenbivy does for me. And so as I run you through this, again, a ton of accessories, some key components, and a whole bunch to think about. First off, again, we're just going to start right with the quilt because the quilt is the key component to this entire setup. Now, when it gets down to Zenbivy, you can pick a number of different options, but the main one to consider here, the warmth and the overall sort of warmth value. Keep in mind that I did pick the 25 degree down bed. You can get different options down to 10 degrees. You can get, setups for warmer conditions. You can get, synthetic materials if you want synthetic, but I personally like the 25 degree down for a number of reasons. 25 degrees for me fits most scenarios nicely, even into the real cold winter, all the way through the warmest summer. I can manage in 25 degrees. And then I also like the down because of the lightweight nature and the packability. If you're careful and you don't get it wet, you should have no problems. And in this particular case, you're going to see they call this the fast foot box. That's another thing that Zenbivy has been playing with, is different foot box designs. So this one here with what they're calling the fast foot box. And year after year, they have made improvements with their quilt designs for the baffle layout, for the overall just general features. But one thing remains the same. This typically does leverage the sheet. So you're going to see this is the quilt, but then you leverage a sheet on the mattress that everything clips to. They have also played with a couple of different clip designs for this particular year, but I believe this should be pretty straightforward in terms of what you're typically going to see from prior reviews on my channel. So here you can see a fully enclosed foot box. There are no drawstrings or anything like that, but I'm not going to need that because I just dangle my feet outside if I need to. And where they say the fast foot box, you can actually clip this together. So if you wanted to clip this more together and close that up and really cut down on draft, you could do so. But I find that most of the time I need to start with my feet out. So having the ability to start with this open, with my feet out, I like that. And I like it quite a bit because, well, once you really can shed just a little bit of the moisture, whether it comes from your feet, whether it comes from the core of your body, either way, the ability to do that is awesome. Now, another feature that you absolutely can choose is the color. Sometimes their colors can be a little bit bright and loud. In my opinion, I like this being black on the outside with the red interior for a couple reasons. This could definitely double, if you had to, as an emergency sort of attraction. So in other words, the red being nice and bright. If really it got to the point where you really needed people to see you, you could flip this around, draw some attention. I love that this ends up being a dual purpose sort of item in a survival situation or in a situation where you need some rescue. So low profile, stay hidden away, which I love, keeping hidden when I'm in the woods. Just hide me away, but when you need it, boom, nice and bright. So the black and red combo, in my opinion, is awesome. Looking at the baffle layout, so down towards the foot box, here you have horizontal bands, horizontal baffles, and then by about halfway up, it transitions to vertical baffles. So this heading towards my head, this heading towards my feet. Again, vertical bands here on the sort of upper portion along the body. Again, you can see this row of loops. These loops are what tie into the sheet. And then on the opposite side, you'll see here also with the loops. Now, it typically transitions through certain sections to clips. You can see there are some clips. So a little bit just, if you're not used to this, a little bit to contend with, but I love the clip and loop system from the standpoint that it's extremely easy to set up. Even though it does take a little bit of setup, it's extremely easy, but more importantly, you can leave half of this unclipped. So typically, the side I get into, like say it's a tent and I'm opening the door, that side will be fully open, and then the side towards the back wall I'll have all clipped off, and that way I can climb in, pull it over me, and vent for a bulk of the night until it starts to get cold, until I start to need more warmth, and then I can work my way throughout the night, clipping these up, and that aids in the overall warmth. So from that perspective, I definitely love it. Now the collar, you'll notice up around the top, this definitely has a nice quality collar. This has a sweet baffle right around it. So when you get to the point where you want to pull this around, that will work out really nice. And it does have the ability to cinch this down. And you can see here towards the side, about 3/4 of the way to the side, you can cinch that up. Really get this nice and tight around you, which is awesome. And then the fact that this is sort of off to the side aids in the overall comfort because it's not, clanking off your face or anything like that. So they do a nice job with the construction and then the overall geometry to make everything work. Continuing to discuss the options. Now, again, keep in mind the fact that I said this does rely on the sheet. So there are 2 sheets here, and you definitely get some options. So the first one here, this is an uninsulated sheet, which I could use in the summer months. I could use this if I want a very low profile and just, less bulky setup. So again, the 25-inch black and gray, you can see here the ultralight sheet. But for me, most of the time, I will be leveraging the 25-degree sheet. So this is the ultralight 25-degree sheet. I am going to basically take this out. We'll go through this one in detail so that I have comparable apples and apples discussion ultralight to lightweight kit. So if I take this and end up by the end, you'll see we'll weigh things up and take a look at this system as a whole. But I do want the insulated sheet. So again, we're talking apples and apples. Now, new for 2024, you're going to see that this does reduce some of the overall volume. This sheet is not a full-length sheet. I think this is closer to maybe a 2/3 length, where the original sheet went all the way to the bottom of the mattress. But here, again, gray and black, that gray and black hood, nice and, to me, again, just not loud, muted colors. The ability to clip everything up. So this is what receives the loops on the quilt. And you'll end up with this collar and this baffle on the side, which does reduce the ability for draft. And it works very well where your actual quilt ends up tucking over your sides, and then plenty of room, flexibility, and maneuverability while you're actually in your system. In the top of the hood here, some simple pockets. So this for me ends up being a power bank with my charging cable, and then my actual phone, which I will put in here overnight, keeps it warm and insulated up near my head, and then gives me access to it so I can, look through my photos while I'm trying to go to bed, or, make sure that if I need to know what time it is, I have that with me. I just really like having my phone up tight and next to me while I sleep. So being right there is awesome. Again, new for 2024, and we're going to take a look at this in a little bit of detail, but I believe they have the ability to kind of clip this off on the actual mattress. So we're going to take a look at how that goes, but I think this does kind of allow me to clip things in a little different over prior years in order to keep everything in place. But again, we'll look at that when we get this set up. So in essence, pretty straightforward, but this is the sheet. And again, the 25-degree insulated version. When it comes down to the pillow, so this is the light pillow, and we're going to take a look at this here. But you'll see a very slim, small package. These pillows are definitely quality. They're fairly comfortable, and the fact that they are this small is awesome. So this is in the color red, you'll see, so it does match the actual setup itself. And this is just the cover. So here's what I'm saying. Okay, so it's the pillow that looks like it all clips in. So you can see here the pillow now having some clips. And then it does rely on, in essence, an inflatable bag. So this is the pillow itself. And I like these. I think it's an effective design, very lightweight, fairly compact. And you can see here, this is just thin and easy to use. Now this is bigger than my other pillows. This is actually, I believe what they're saying, large. So my other pillows are not quite this big. That is awesome. So I have a slightly bigger pillow now, but it's still extremely compact. And the nice thing for 2024, they now offer pillow toppers. So this is a down pillow topper, which is cool. That's going to be able to slide right inside and give you additional comfort. So the additional comfort here just coming from a softer pillow, not laying directly on the bag, which is kind of nice. But Zenbivy does suggest that in general, if you don't want the topper, bring your down jacket, which for me, I always have down with me anyway. and use the down jacket as a topper, because then you at least have dual purpose, dual use items, safety and security from your down, and then at nighttime, the comfort in the pillow. So I am again going to slip this in with the rest of the kit, because when it comes to my Zenbivy setups, I definitely do carry the pillows, and you'll see just a simple little stuff sack. So getting this all put away, and this will go down inside with the rest of the kit. And last but not least here, this is the mattress. Now, I have to admit, I'm not sure exactly what they sent to me, because there were a number of different options. This here is an inflation sack, which basically you can see it's the extra small inflation sack. I don't typically use these, even though people get on my case. I mean, I literally just blow directly into the mattresses. And I'm wondering if this is what I think it is. So Zenbivy, if this is what I think it is, has a brand new design this year with a new sort of comfort level. And so I'm going to take a quick look at this, get myself oriented for just a minute. Which, yes, this is the Flex Ultralight mattress, 25 inches wide by 77 inches long. Perfect. The perfect length for me, the perfect width, and I'll be very curious to see how this Flex mattress works. Now, soft on the top, soft to the touch, very nice, just very soft. Flipping it over here, it seems to be about the same, but maybe just a slightly different coating on here. Maybe just a little bit for water resistance. But in the past, the ultralight mattresses, and what I used, had a little bit of a topper, just a little bit of an insulated topper to kind of help with the comfort, keep things quiet, and add the insulation for warmth. But this does not have it, which is going to reduce the bulk. But they're saying, and I'm hoping it's true, that this is the most comfortable mattress they have used to date. And that's saying a lot, because there are some pretty good mattresses out there. So we're going to take a look at this once we get it set up. Now, just in terms of the general features, you can see here this is a valve, so a one-way valve to inflate. It's going to be just a little bit stiff here, but you can see a one-way valve to inflate, and then here just a big open port to deflate. And pretty simple, all things considered. I do find this to be effective. Now again, you could put the bag on this and fill that up. I am absolutely not going to do that, because I don't have any problem blowing inside my mattresses. We already talked about the length here. And so at this point, I mean, this pretty much wraps it up in terms of the actual setup. So again, the Flex UL mattress, 25 inch by 77 inches. So now at this point, we have equivalent setups, both 25-degree beds. We have in both cases the quilt, we have the sheet, we have the mattress, and we have the pillows. You can see here, just at an initial glimpse, they do look to be about the same in terms of volume, yet we haven't even squashed these down yet, so we will check that. But at this point, let's weigh these up to see what we get. So first here, the lightweight version, as we get it in here, taking a look. 3 pounds, 11.6 ounces. So again, 3 pounds, 11.6 ounces. And the ultralight, 3 pounds, 10 ounces. But keep in mind, this mattress is a little bit, and I don't know if we're going to find that it's actually bigger, but maybe just a little bit heavier. Let's see if this is where we're picking up the weight. So here we have the new version, 14.6 ounces versus the previous 9.8 ounces. So the original ultralight mattress is lighter than the new version, even though it kind of looks like it might be bulkier, which is possibly true. I'm thinking if you wanted to save a little bit of weight, you could potentially change things up a bit, but in my opinion, at this point, it's worth testing out the kind of newer version here, so I'm going to give this a go in the future testing. But in other words, The actual quilts themselves, they do definitely vary, which is hard to say if that's a big difference for anybody, but again, ounces add up to pounds, pounds add up to pain, so if you are counting the ounces, certainly the ultralight version does save a little bit of weight. Now just to experiment and demonstrate a little bit, this is the light bed, so the lightweight bed with the sheet. So in other words, the actual quilt and the sheet, you can see it pretty much fills out this stuff sack entirely, which in essence is 12 inches long by 7.5 inches in diameter. And now here the ultralight bed, again, the quilt and also the sheet. Now as I took a look at here, this is down to about 9.5 inches. You're still going to have that same 7.5 inch diameter. So it does appear to be more compressible. And I have to say, I compressed both of these about as much as I could. And sitting in here, it does expand just a little bit. So you can see that the ultralight version does compress a little bit more than the light version. So again, ounces adding up and also some volume, and especially if you go with the ultralight version of the mattress, you're going to continue to save some weight. And then beyond all of that, now the fact that you end up just with your uninsulated sheet, that will also save volume and weight. So adding options this year with Zenbivy. And so, all right, guys, there you have it. A look at the Zenbivy Ultralight Bed, comparing it against the light bed. Zenbivy continuing to just knock it up a notch every year. They're looking to improve every year, getting lighter, getting more compact, adding the additional little enhancements for comfort. The quality in these systems absolutely cannot be denied. Are there other options out there? There are. But in my opinion, and I stand by this, there are no other options that are as comfortable with the moisture and temperature regulation in this quality, in this lightweight package. All in all, in my opinion, this is absolutely the way to go. So again, if you're interested in getting your hands on a lightweight bed, look in the description box below where I have giveaway details. To the people at Zenbivy, thank you so much for providing this for review. I will have a follow-up video that goes through the full setup of this, as well as the field use. That will come in the backpacking season. Right now, it's not quite the right time to get out there, but very, very soon, so keep an eye out for much more. So, all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.